For science this week, we're going to talk about photosynthesis. And that can be a very hard word to say, so we're going to practice it in pieces. If you can read it with me, it's photo, like a picture, photo, synthesis, photosynthesis, photosynthesis, okay? And we will talk about what this means later on, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is all the vocabulary words. So this one, frequently you guys say it wrong because it looks like h in Slovak, but you need to say it as k this time. Normally in English it says ch, but this time it's k. So it's chemical, chemical. Next is glucose. Glucose, very similar to the Slovak, but we don't say a at the end, not glucosa, but glucose. Next, I think you know this one, but just in case, leaves, leaves. Next, we have molecules, molecules. Here again is photosynthesis, photosynthesis. Here is plants, plants. Here is stored, stored. And here is to release, to release. Remember, in English, we see to, when in Slovak, you use the words that have ch at the end, the doing words, okay? So this is to release, uvolniť, okay? Then we have our introduction questions, and again, these ones we normally would write down and we would take a minute to think about them. But because we are doing this through the video, I want you to just read them and then pause the video, stop the video, and think before we start reading the next part. Okay, so we have, do plants need light? What do humans breathe? And are plants important? So you can stop the video here, take a think, and move on. Okay, so okay, so we are going to start with page 50, reading the information that's here. And normally in class, we would read this together and we would take turns reading, but especially because photosynthesis is such a hard word to say, we're going to read it together here. And I would like you to have your science book with you or to be following along in the reading on the screen. And don't just listen. Also look at the words, okay? So we have the heading. Remember, heading is telling us what we're going to learn about. So here we're going to learn about what is photosynthesis. The word photosynthesis is made up of two words. Photo means light. Synthesis means putting together. So photosynthesis means light putting together or light building. Yeah? So plants need food. They make their own food using light. They synthesize, make their own food using photo, light. That's where we get photosynthesis from. To make food, plants need carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. So here we see the answer to one of your introduction questions. Yeah. Okay. And here is a diagram that shows you. So the plants take in the sunlight, they absorb the sunlight, they absorb some carbon dioxide and some water, and all three of these things together, they use to make their own food, they photosynthesize, and they end up with, at the end, they have glucose, which is a fancy name for sugar, and oxygen. Okay, next heading, the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens in the leaves of the plants, so it happens here, not in the stem. In the leaves of the plants, there is a green chemical called chlorophyll. Okay, we're going to say this word one more time. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll. Plants are green because of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs the sun's energy. Using water molecules and carbon dioxide molecules, plants make glucose, sugar, and oxygen. Plants use the glucose for food. They have the sugar for food. Then plants release oxygen. Okay. Next heading, why is photosynthesis important? Photosynthesis is important because it gives us food and oxygen. Some of the glucose that plants make is stored in fruits and vegetables. These foods provide energy for humans and animals. Humans breathe in oxygen, O2, and we breathe out carbon dioxide, CO2. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen, it should say here. So maybe in your book, you can put a little note here that this should say, breathe out oxygen. Oops, I'll fix that for next year. Okay. We cannot live without oxygen, and plants cannot live without carbon dioxide. So here we see another answer to an introduction question. Here. Okay, so we will continue. The number of people in the world is getting bigger and bigger. So people are breathing out more carbon dioxide. We are also destroying more plants and trees, cutting trees down, water pollution, and soil pollution. I'm going to stop here and remind you, destroying, we talked about this with the immune system and white blood cells. Destroying means that they are gone. Yeah, so destroying trees would be cutting trees down. And destroying plants can happen with water pollution and soil pollution. And we talked about soil pollution last week. Okay, this means there is more carbon dioxide and less oxygen in the air. What does this mean for people? And this part I'm going to let you think about. We're not going to talk about this question. Okay, so the next thing that we have is the lesson check. And again, I'm going to send the lesson check in a forms. And I'm also going to make a flip grid so you can ask questions. I'm not going to put the code here. I'm going to just send it to you in the plans. So you can click the link from the plans, and you can use the flip grid just to ask questions. And the form, you will put your answers to the lesson check. And I look forward to seeing your answers. So we have 6 questions, and you will put all of these answers in the forms. Okay? Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you in our online classes. Goodbye.